All right. Shalom Akim. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Recha, Chodash. All right. I want to give double honors to my apostles and elders at Great Millstone, Drew well. And I want to give peace, greetings, and salutations to all the Lagakim. That's pushing his word in truth and sincerity, throughout the four corners of the earth. And the brothers that's not wavering in the faith, being diligent in truth. I say shalom to you brothers, and I say shalom, to the few sisters that believe in all meekness and humbleness. I say shalom. I'm your brother Zakaria from GMS Miami Camp. And Lord willing, through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Recha, Chodash, Adawan Ratazah. That means Lord willing. So Lord willing, this lesson is edifying to the elect of the nation Israel, And my lesson today, through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Recha, Chodash, it's going to base it on, a question I asked the Google, all right, with the AI overview, which I asked Google. I said, can a digital ID be replaced with the implantable device ID card, identification card? So I basically asked them, all right, which you see what's going on in the UK, they got the digital ID, and they say they made it mandatory. You won't be able to work in the UK unless you have it. So I asked Google, all right, can that digital ID be replaced with a microchip, basically? And they said, here's the answer. It says, yes, a digital ID can be replaced with implantable device identification card. All right. And that's what we coming towards, man. All right. This devil Esau Edom, all right, he deals with gradualism. All right. He do things gradually. All right. So I'm gonna get a couple of precepts real quick. And this is the RFID chip is the mark of the beast. All right, in the book of Revelation 13 chapter. All right. This book of 2 Corinthians chapter 2. In verse 11, it says, "Least Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices." All right, and Esau Edom, the so-called white man, all right, started with the elite bankers. All right, they're the physical counterpart of Satan. All right, and we're not ignorant of his devices. His whole device, as Aaron Russo said, well, the scripture says he's going to cause all. All right, and Aaron Russo did an interview with Alex Jones, which he said Nick Rockefeller told him that what they want everybody to have a chip inside of them, and if they don't comply, they can just shut it off. All right, and we see this system being built right in front of our eyes. All right, so we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. All right, Esau Edom, the so-called white man devices, man. All right, and it's coming close. This book of Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 3. All right, and it says, "And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision," meaning the prophecies, all right, that's written in the scriptures, "and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it," all right, to carry the correct message, as it says in the NLT. "For the vision," all right, the prophecies, "is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it would not tarry." So these prophecies are not tarrying. It's coming fast. And if you can't see the RFID chip is the mark of the beast, then you just blind or you sold out. All right, so let's read this. It says, yes, a digital ID can be replaced with an implantable device identification card. And this is already happening in some extent. Although widespread adoption is a complex issue, which they already got the system. They just needed an event. It says the technology for implantable chips that can store identification and other information already exists. So we have it already. It already exists. So what you other camps talking about? Even the so-called Christians can see it, man. Even the six-pack Joe can see it, man. All right, little kids can see it. But you people call yourself, you other false Israelite groups, call yourself Israelites, call yourself prophets, men of the Lord, you can't see it. The Lord's not dealing with you. It says, however, so that other information, it already exists. It says, however, the main challenges are the need for compatible infrastructure in systems like airports or stores in the privacy concerns associated with permanent unmovable identification. All right, which Esau, he has it. He just need the event to roll it out. It says how it works. Implantable chips, tiny implantable chips, often contains an RFID. It says radio frequency identification chip can be injected under the skin, most commonly in the hand. This is Revelation, man. You niggas, man. Revelation chapter 13 and verse 16 says, and he called us all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. Sorry, that word mark is charagma, all right, which means something inserted inside of you, which is that chip. And the root word of charagma is charax, all right, which goes into a palisade, all right, which is ultimately talking about the needle that's gonna, all right, be injected inside of you. All right, and the root word of charax is grapho, and grapho goes into a record of your information. That's all your information on the database. So is it plain? If you go to the word, that's what the Lord said, study to show thyself approved. All right, a workman, not being ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. You got to be like Elder Apostle Har always say, in the Apostles' Elders, you got to be like the Church of Berea. You got to search the scriptures. It says, verse 17, and what you got, the foreheads with the Neuralink, are these different brain chips companies. It says that no man might buy or sell, save, means except he that hath the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So you're not going to be able to buy or sell unless you have that C-hip inside of you. All right. And you see what they doing with the SNAP EBT programs. All right. They're going to change the system. All right. And they're going to, well, this is my belief. I think Elder Apostle Hart said the same thing. No, don't quote me on it. They're going to change the system, and then they're going to say, oh, you need a digital ID, and then that's not going to work, so they're going to push that chip. All right, in any fashion, it can be the SNAP, it can be anything else. It's going to be a problem. They're going to give it a solution. There's going to be a problem. There's going to be a reaction. There's going to be a solution, and that solution is not going to work. It's going to work for a little bit. Then they're going to come with the next plan. All right, so it says, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Verse 18, here's wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is a number of a man, and his number is 600, 666, going into the universal product code. All right. So basically, you're going to be a walking QR code, a walking quick response code. Just how you have a soda, you go in the store and you scan it, and all the information comes up, the price and everything. That's how you people going to be. It says functionality. It says these chips can be programmed to act as an ID, access card, or even a way to make payments or store personal data. Doesn't that sound like, we just read, payments, you're not going to be able to buy or sell, and it's going to have all your information, or it's going to be so convenient, and we're going to be able to identify who you are, so that we know that you're not a terrorist, that you didn't come into this country illegal, that you are American citizens or the citizens of the nation that you are at. It says infrastructure. So we here. It says the main hurdle is creating systems like access readers, payment terminals, or government databases that are designed to interact with these chips instead of physical cards or phones. Well, they have all you have to do. Well, they got the system. If they can do it with their cards and your phone, they can just switch it to put in a chip inside of you, man. Have the same information transferred over to the chip. All right, and that's what they're gonna do. It says potential benefits. It says enhanced security. It is harder to steal an implant with a physical card or phone. All right, they're gonna make it so they're gonna know that nobody's gonna, like Elder Pastor Hart said, that movie Minority Report. He used an example of that. I think they stole a person's eye or hand or something. I watched it, but I forgot the scene. Yokomoto, the Chinese dude. All right. So this is the benefit. They saying this is the benefits of it, and a lot of people gonna be deceived. And you see with a brain chip with Neuralink, which is what's that dude named Elon Musk? They doing the miracles of people they can walk, paralyzed, they can see, they can talk, whatever. Those are miracles on the left hand side, which is all deception. It says convenience. It can streamline access to services. It would not need to carry multiple cars or a phone for identification, so it would already be inside of you. Emergency access. In medical emergency, the implants could provide critical information for first responders, especially if the individual is unable to communicate. So they're saying you have a chip, just how you have a scanner. You just scan that person, you got all this information, you know who he is. Like your fucking dog. It says potential downfalls. Privacy concerns. A permanent implant means surrendering control over your identification, raising questions about privacy, as your identity is always with you. All right, which is the total control. You total control under the Edomites. You total control under the elite bankers, man. Infrastructure incapability. It says most systems today are not set up to re-implant chips. Yes, they are. With the card system, what they about to, even if they not, as technology keeps speeding up. All right, all you got to do if you have your card to tap. You know, Walmart they're gonna eventually get transferred over. All right, because you got to put your card inside. But you have like Whole Foods, you just put your hand, it's a palm reader. So they have the infrastructure, man. In Sweden, people have microchips inside of them. It says most systems today are not set up to implanted chips, meaning they could not be used for common tasks like boarding a plane or making a purchase. Medical risks. With any surgery procedure, there are potential risks such as infection or immune system reaction. And once you get that, this is how you know it's something physical also, you little demons. This is how you know it's physical also. This is Revelation chapter 16 and verse 1. It says, and I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the seven angels, go your ways and pour out the vials of the wrath of the Lord upon the earth. And ultimately, the destruction is coming. 200 million nuclear warheads going to hit this place. And if you got that RFID chip inside of you, and you're going to get burned up with that fire if you're here in America, if you're here in Babylon the Great. It says, verse 2, it says, and the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men that had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worship his image. So what? They're going to have a noisome and grievous sore. All right. As it says, the medical risk, as any surgical procedure, potential risk of infection or immune system reaction, because you're not supposed to put a chip inside of you. All right. So yeah, we here, man. You know, I was watching Elder Pastor Hart video, and he was wording it as can ID be with a biometro microchip? And Esau, they was going around. Well, I got to finish watching the video. They was going around in circles like, no, same thing here. So I just said the RFID chip. All right. And they said, yeah. So the men of the prophets of Great Millstone started with our elder apostles on down, through the spirit of Yahweh Shai. We have it correct, man. It's in your face. All right. And they eventually going to change the system because we're not ignorant of his devices. All right. So with that, I'm going to close out, Lord, and this lesson was edifying to the elect of the nation of Israel. I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory unto Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Recha Kodash. All right. I want to give double honors to my apostles and elders at Great Millstone, which rule well. And I want to give a peace, greetings, and salutations to all the Lekakim that's pushing his word in truth and sincerity. Hey, Shalom, Akim. Keep pushing. Keep doing. Shalom.